Thank you for joining us live on KEXP. I'm Cheryl Waters. I'm so excited to be here down in the KEXP studios with an artist that we love so much and who have been following since the very beginning of their career. And here in the studio with me today, it's Arlo Parks. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's so wonderful to have you here. And your brand new album, My Soft Machine, has been on regular rotation for me, and our listeners absolutely love it. I can't wait to talk with you about that and so much more, but I'm so excited to hear some live music.
Yeah, let's do it.
Arlo Parks, live on KEXP.
To the water, kitchen light like a blaze through your body. The party's ablaze. We grew apart when you were fighting with your sister. Don't think I realized how horribly I missed you. Regret is flowering inside you. You know that I just don't know what to do, 'cause I only wanna be with you. There's something strangely romantic in our friendship. We would be married. Talking for hours on the gravel, walking to boxes, linking pinkies, wearing matching pants, and I'm struggling and choking without you. Hope you know that I just don't know what to do, 'cause I only wanna be with you. I just miss your voice, saying we're right, pulling back alone at night, 'cause I only wanna be with you. So I make my way over as the white lightning zigzags, and you're with armored plum red slacks and tequila fizz, and you laugh the same hand on mouth, 'cause you hate your teeth and I love your teeth and I'm scared to speak. You know I just don't know what to do, 'cause I only wanna be with you. I just miss your voice, saying we're right, pulling back alone at night, 'cause I only wanna be with you. Only wanna be with you. I only wanna be with you. Only wanna be with you. I only wanna be with you. Only wanna be with you.
You're listening to Arlo Parks live on KEXP.
Butterflies in my skull. be numb, I'm sorry. It's really just hard to trust anyone. It's really just hard to trust anyone. Sky blue shirt and I'm so desperately hurt, but I know you're better, and I can't make myself open up as the sirens burn in the atmosphere and scrambled eyes. Try to pin me down, but I can't stand for you to see me like this. I'm sorry. It's easier to be numb, I'm sorry. It's really just hard to trust anyone. It's really just hard to trust anyone. I've been working incessantly, but that won't keep the wolves at bay. I've been working incessantly, like a wasp feeling trapped and crazed. Tried to tell my therapist everything. Tried to meditate, push the pain away. Tried to move out to LA, dye my hairline, be a saint. But I won't peek through the blinds I've shut in myself, and so nothing changed. Yeah, I won't peek through the blinds I've shut in myself, and so nothing changed. I'm sorry. It's easier to be numb, I'm sorry. It's really just hard to trust anyone. It's really just hard to trust anyone. It's really just hard to trust anyone.
Sounds so good. It's Arlo Parks live here in the KEXP studios. Songs from the new album, My Soft Machine. You're listening to Arlo Parks live in the KEXP studios.
Got me falling on my sword, but I don't resent you. Shaking in dark tones, getting in my bones, baby, like I don't know that. Girl, I wanna protect you, I do. Oh, you touch embroiders, baby, I'm wide open. All yours, baby. Calm down like a million times. All yours, baby. Flood me if you know this love. All yours, baby. Calm down like a million times. All yours, baby. Now I got my shackles on, the clutch is sticking. Trying to dark blue, why do I trust you when you tell me I'm a good thing? Girl, I wanna protect you, I do. Oh, your eyes destroying me, I'm wide open. All yours, babe. Calm down like a million times. All yours, babe. Flood me if you know this love. All yours, babe. Calm down like a million times. All yours, babe. Flood me if you know this love. All yours, babe. Calm down like a million times. All yours, babe. Flood me if you know this love. All yours, babe. Calm down like a million times. All yours, babe. Flood me if you know this love. All yours, babe. Calm down like a million times. All yours, babe. Flood me if you know this love. All yours, babe. Calm down like a million times. All yours, babe. Flood me if you know this love.
You're listening to Arlo Parks live on KEXP, songs from the new album My Soft Machine, and this band is having a ton of fun here today. Thank you so much for coming in, and you got the original gang back together.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was telling you earlier, we've played together for like 6+ years, so it feels like family.
That must be amazing to be on tour, as we were saying, with people that you have such a long relationship and trust, because touring can take a little bit out of you, even though it's fun to be playing your music for new audiences every night. You have to take care of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like being really intentional about replenishing where you can and spending time in nature and like reading and just kind of filling up your cup is really important when you're giving so much every night.
Well, you made your new record, My Soft Machine, in Los Angeles. And from what I've read, you went to Los Angeles to make a record, and the community totally embraced you, and you fell in love with it, and you live there now. And I'd love to know a little bit about the community that you found there and what you love so much about living in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I mean, I just found really, really good people. There's a really lovely pod of indie musicians that are all based out there, and also falling into circles with other kind of creative people, whether that be sculptors or directors or actors, just learning so much about people and creativity in that melting pot. And obviously the sunshine and the nature, falling in love with the landscape of California. And it feels really good to like feel home there, to be honest. Like I do feel home there.
I do know that you love nature. We've talked about it, and I've read you talking about it in interviews many, many times. And I know that it's something that's important in my life, and your music fits so beautifully for me. When I'm out in nature, I'm often listening to your music. Do you find that it changes the way you write, that you've changed the environment where you're making music now, gives you maybe some mental clarity, both within your writing and in your life outside of music?
Definitely. I think there's something very spacious about being in the desert or in the mountains. And I think there's something about feeling quite small, you know, like in the shadow of a ginormous mountain that kind of gives you a little bit of perspective. But when I'm writing, I'm often like walking and figuring things out in my head, and there is this sense of feeling very grounded when I am in nature, and also in the water as well, and having it as a little moment of respite to kind of step away from the studio. And that's often where actually my best ideas come, when I'm just going for a walk.
Well, you talk about the community that you found in LA, and there are so many collaborators on this record. I feel like I've read that you demo your songs, or they begin in a solitary environment with just you. And I'm wondering if you feel more courageous to start your music that way, or if working with others makes you feel more courageous and helps you coax things out.
I feel like it has to be a mixture of both for me. I think that when I'm alone, it kind of allows me to be the most transparent and the most honest, just me like poring over my journals and finding these little fragments. And that feels like a very delicate stage where I have to just figure out what it is that I want to say and the stories that I want to tell. And then I feel like when I bring that into the studio, there is this spirit of adventure. Like it feels like forming this little band for a few months, and there's this sense of learning from the people around you and taking risks and them pushing you and challenging you. And there's a comfort in sharing that experience with other people. So I feel like it's a different kind of courage.
What's one of the most memorable moments you can just think of off the top of your head when you were making this record?
I think probably making Devotion, because I've been such a big fan of 90s music my whole life, like just loving Yola Tengo and Smashing Pumpkins and that raw energy of 90s music. And I wasn't sure how to find my way through like putting that into Arlo Parks' music. And I was just there with my collaborators Ramil and Baird, and we were just like, why not just do it? And it was so simple, but I had so many thoughts and I was overthinking it for so long, and we were just like jumping around the studio in downtown LA, just like thrashing on guitars and just being completely free. I felt like a teenager again, which I guess isn't that long ago, but I felt like I tapped into that kind of childlike excitement of making music.
Well, I should point out to listeners, that's the last song that you just played, and that's the one that made me say, this band is clearly having a ton of fun in the studios. I sense that you've grown more comfortable looking inward in your music and your songwriting. Do you think, what do you think's transpired since your last record to make you want to write something a little bit more personal this time?
I think it was just kind of a natural evolution, like having written an album that was very much me as an observer and speaking about all these characters. There was a sense also of then being out in the world and being so surrounded by others and needing to go inwards and having that kind of introspective urge, that writing was this moment of solace when I was traveling so much and so out in the world, that it was just like me alone. And that's where the ideas for the record kind of started germinating. And I think that for me, my favorite records do come from that very like transparent and raw place. And it is usually from the perspective of and there's something really scary about that, but it also feels like it's the music that makes the most change. So I think that's what gave me the courage to do it.
Well, this album sounds so hopeful, and I read somewhere that you talked about just wanting to make a record that made you feel good. And what did it feel like in the process of doing that?
Yeah, I mean, it just felt free. Like, I really didn't set myself any parameters. I wasn't really thinking about what I had done before. I just wanted to have this kind of melting pot of influences and just approach it from a really pure and free place. And so I think that's why the process just felt so good, because it was just following all these little impulses and having terrible ideas and having good ones and just feeling safe in that process.
You've been really busy since you released this last year. You also had a deluxe edition with some additional material that came out with this record. And I'd love to talk a minute about The Magic Border, which is a book of original poems, and you also included the lyrics from My Soft Machine, and then these beautiful images. What did it feel like putting that out? I know that poetry is something that you've loved for a very long time, but it's a little bit different than songwriting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think for some reason it was a lot more scary than putting out a record. I think I just have a very specific kind of reverence for literature and poetry, but the fact that I did it with one of my best friends, I think, made it feel like it was a piece of work born of friendship. And, you know, even going on a book tour, like my first ever book tour, and speaking to like young kids who were coming in with their little notebooks and their little disposable cameras being like, we want to create something like this. And you know, it's a very different kind of creativity, but I feel like it still builds community around itself in a very specific way. And so I think that that's what was my favorite part about the process, just putting it out into the world and then kind of dissolving also that sense that poetry has to be something quite opaque and like super cerebral, that it's something that everyone can access.
I find it interesting to hear you talk about how you haven't had any formal training in poetry, and so you don't feel bound by any kind of structure. And I have to think that feels that you just put anything in there that you want. And I have to think that feels very freeing to young people that just want to do it and don't feel like they have to be constrained by any kind of rules.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like it's the same thing with my music. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing on guitar. I just like feel it and try my best. And there is, as you say, something freeing about the fact that you can just have an idea or a thought, and that can be enough. It doesn't need to fit into any traditional frameworks. It can just be expression. And those are my favorite pieces.
Well, I've heard that you would like to do many things, maybe act, which is something I would like to see, or screenwrite, or score a film, or you've even talked about wanting to do woodworking.
Yes.
So it feels like you've got a lot of things of interest. You even talk about wanting to live in other parts of the country. I've heard you reference upstate New York a couple of times. And I just love the idea that, you know, whatever comes to your mind is possible for you. I mean, do you just have this great passion to do all these things? Have you started on any of those? You haven't done any woodworking yet?
Woodworking, no. But in terms of the other I mean, I'm always just, it's kind of relentless in my head. I'm just always kind of trying to find new ways to tell different stories. And especially being on the road, just having quite a lot of time, you know, before sound check and stuff. Like I'm mulling over little ideas. You'll see.
I can't
keep it
wait.
Mysterious.
I can't wait. We're here in the KEXP studios with Arlo Parks and her amazing band. The new album, My Soft Machine, came out last year. Absolutely incredible. And we want to thank the band for coming in today with this beautiful performance, and also thank you, our viewers. You make sessions like this possible. We are a listener-powered station. You can support us with a gift in any amount, anytime at kexp.org, and let us continue to help you discover fantastic new music. Your next favorite artist is right around the corner, and we're so happy to be here today with Arlo Parks. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you again for tuning in to KEXP, where the music matters.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.